Okay, so I kind of have an interest in, so back in college, the beginning of the Creative Commons, creation of Creative Commons, actually shortly thereafter, I kind of got interested in this. Didn't really have much use for it, but now that I make games, it's kind of been important. So I've been kind of learning about that and learning about copyright a little bit. Now, this is from a layperson's perspective, i.e. not a lawyer, so do not come to me for legal advice. Please do not use this as legal advice. But this is kind of things to watch out for if you don't know what you're doing. So, and this doesn't just apply to games, but it can. All right, so copyright. It's complicated. I'm not going into any kind of detail, really. It's constantly being updated and changed. An example is buildings and pictures of buildings from 1990 and later, actually, are subject to copyright. So it's basically, if you have recent buildings can be copywritten if they're recent enough. Derivative works, such as photographs of a copyrighted work, can also be subject to copyright. So I'll mention why that's important to bring up. And if you want to learn more, there's this really cool course on Coursera that I recommend. It's taught by nerdy librarians and a lawyer. Okay, public domain. Copyright is expired or not renewed. Some famous works are in the public domain, which is useful if you want to make a game based on something, say like Cthulhu. Lovecraft's works. Some of Lovecraft's works. It depends on the date of when it was published and whether or not he was collaborating with someone, because they could also own it. Derivative works or compilations can be under copyright. So, for example, Wizard of Oz, I believe it's in the public domain, but if you make something with ruby slippers, that goes to the movie, which is still in copyright. So if somebody owns that, and you can get in trouble. So resources on that. Creative Commons, which is a lot of fun. So this was the entire idea behind Creative Commons, was to make copyright less rigid. So it's sort of an all or nothing kind of thing. You either somebody owns it or it's open to everybody. So Creative Commons is a sort of middle ground where you can say, all right, I'm allowing anyone to use it, but with these constraints. For example, maybe you're like, okay, I'll release this picture, but I don't want anyone making money off of it. And they can use it for free stuff. So if you're making a free game, that works really well, but you gotta be mindful of that. Another thing to keep in mind is attribution as well. A lot of these have attribution. Some of them, they're like, okay, I just released it to the public. It's public domain, that's Creative Commons 0, and it goes all the way up for like all different levels. And you can learn more about that at creativecommons.org. So these are examples. Attribution, share alike, no derivatives, non-commercial. Share alike just means, you have to share, whatever you make, you have to put into Creative Commons as well, under similar rules. Attribution must include creator, link to the work itself. So if it's online, tell them where you got it from. What modifications have been made to the work. So if you got somebody's picture that was like attribution, you'd say, and you throw it in a filter, that's something you would want to mention. Or if you edit it down so that it's cropped, you want to mention that. And type and link to the Creative Commons license. All right. Other ways to identify usage rules. Morgue file. So these are examples, JukeJack. These are places where they'll list out, if you're going to use content from our site, please follow the rules, these rules as spelled out. One thing to keep in mind, though, if something has like an attribution, say it's public, somebody says, oh, this picture is public domain, and it's a picture of someone's artwork, someone else's artwork, that's not really going to be public domain. So just a landmine to watch out for there. Okay, that's pretty much what I had to say.